Elite Gaming.
What's up guys, it's Andrew at Elite Gaming HQ, and in this video I want to do a PC all-around setup and build for under $1,000. Now it's going to be closer to $900 if you guys already have a legit copy of Windows 10 or if you have other means of getting it. I don't necessarily judge you on how you do that, but this video is for someone, let's say, that had an older computer and it's time to build something new and they finally want to jump into today's AAA games with great visuals and 60 FPS. So our goal is to build an all-around setup with a monster 1080p 60 FPS machine. So first thing I want to get into is we'll look at the peripherals, we'll look at the case, the power supply, the monitor. Let's get into that first. So the first thing is the case. So for the case I went with a black BitPhoenix case. Now I actually just built a PC in this case with the very motherboard we're going to use and a lot of the same parts we're going to use in this video today. I put pictures of that up on my Instagram. The subtle difference is in that build we used the GTX 1070, which you know around right now they're about a $500 card, and the guy also had an SSD. But even with a monster card like the EVGA GTX 1070, this case handled it really well and it fit in there great. This case was great to work with and I would recommend it to anyone. Now when I do a budget, I try to stay around $40 to $50 for my case. We could go crazy and get something with glass panels and everything, but if we have a limited amount of money, let's say $900 or $1,000, we'll be better off putting the money elsewhere. Let's say in a better graphics card. But we'll get to that in a minute. Next, let's go over to monitor. For the monitor, when anybody asks me about, hey, I want to get into PC gaming, what should I get? I highly recommend ultra wide. You can pick up an LG 25-inch ultra wide. It's not too big, it's not really too small, for $164.32 with Prime. That's amazing. The thing about ultra wide is you get a lot more real estate. It is a little harder on the graphics card, so we got to keep that in mind when we shop for a graphics card. But you can literally see more of the map or the gameplay as you're playing, and that's amazing. If I didn't make YouTube videos and it would come out as a weird stretch or compression, I would totally play with ultra wide. But as you can see from this picture here, how awesome ultra wide can really be. So I highly recommend ultra wide monitor for this setup. Next, let's quickly go over a couple things. For the keyboard and mouse, you can't go wrong with the Cooler Master Devastator 2, a very inexpensive keyboard and mouse that'll still give you a great feel and still be great for gaming. At $25, it's hard not to recommend. Has a nice backlighting so you can see your keys in the dark, and the mouse isn't terrible. For the people who like controllers, and I'm one of them, some games I prefer to play with a controller. I like to just sit back and play. I personally use an Xbox One controller with the dongle so I have wireless, but for a budget computer I would really recommend the GameSir G3W. I've bought multiple of this controller. I think it's great. It's a good controller to have on hand and it's not bad to game on. Now the cord actually separates into a USB that could connect to your phone, so you could actually use this controller for phone gaming if you want it, but for PC gaming and its inexpensive price, this is a great controller if you're looking for that sort of thing. Next, I would say speakers. Just pick yourself up some Logitech speakers. I have ones that are similar to this that also have the subwoofer. Some people may say, why are you getting speakers? I'd rather have a headset. Yeah, but I don't always want to wear a headset. So I prefer, if I'm going to pick one, I would go with speakers. You can pay 20 bucks, get yourself a nice set of speakers for local gaming, or even if you want to play a little music on it while you straighten up the room that you're in. Okay, next let's go to the power supply. For the power supply, for $40, you can get an EVGA 500 watt, 80 plus power supply. I've used multiple of these, you can't go wrong. They come with a 3-year warranty. Not that I've ever had to take any back. It's just nice to know that they claim that. And 500 watts is all you're going to need for a budget build. Gone are the days where you need 800 to 1000 watt power supplies. Nobody runs SLI, and in this build we certainly won't be. So that's another 40 bucks on the cart. So now that we got all that out of the way, let's go into our real deal parts. First, we're going to go to SuperBiz and we're going to pick ourselves up an AMD Ryzen 5 1600. Now, I suggest the 1600 because its price is amazing for what it does. And right now, you can get this 6-core 12-thread processor for $187 when you use the coupon code on screen. For a mid-range, even lower high-range builds, this is an amazing processor. It's not going to be outdated anytime soon, plus it's on the new AM4 socket, so if you ever did want to upgrade, or if something new comes out, they're going to keep this socket around for a while. So for sub $200, I highly recommend this. I think it's going to be better than any i5. An i7 will beat it out, but an i7 you're going to pay an extra $130, $100, plus it won't come with a cooler. These AMD processors come with really nice coolers. So that's why this is what I have to recommend for this build. Next, we're going to go over to PC Outlet, and we're going to get our motherboard and our hard drive. The motherboard I recommend is the MSI Gaming A320M. I've built 3 computers so far with this motherboard. It's a smaller form factor, yes, but it's great. It has everything you need for a budget build, even the higher. I mean, you're not going to do SLI, you're not going to do Crossfire, and if you were, you're looking at a couple $1,000s in your computer, and this board's not for you. But for a budget, this thing's amazing. It has 2 RAM slots and PCI Express 3.0. And also, yes, your hard drive, we're going to go with the tried and true Western Digital 1TB Blue. This is the best hard drive you can get for a little bit of money. Hands down. You'll see everybody recommending it because it works, it's good and solid in reliability, and it's fast enough for current gaming with great space per cost. At the end of the day, this thing gets you about 931 gigabytes, and yes, you could fill it up, but it's not going to happen too quickly, and you could always throw extra drives in. With the BitPhoenix case, it allows you to have 3 hard drives and 3 SSDs. Alright, next, to finish everything off, we're going to go to Newegg. And at Newegg, we're going to get our RAM, which I recommend a G.Skill Ripjaws, one 8GB chip. And the reason why I recommend one 8 is because later on down the road, if you ever want to, you can upgrade your RAM. If you think you need more RAM, well, you kind of don't for gaming. And I did a video on that, and I'll put the card above so you can go check that out. And it proved that 8GB of RAM is all you're going to need for gaming at this point. Maybe sometime in the future, you might need more, and if you need more, well, you only bought 1 stick, so you can just add another one right in. And at that time, RAM will be cheaper, so it's a double win. Lastly, still on Newegg, is your video card. Now for this build, even though video cards are expensive at this point, I recommend the Gigabyte GeForce GTX 1060 6GB. This model at $270 is not very inflated. This is basically what they kind of should cost, and it performs. With this video card and that ultra wide monitor, you will have max 60 frames per second on all your games in ultra settings, unless of course your game is something like Arma that suffers from lack of optimization. This PC with this processor and this video card will be a pleasure to game on. So move parts around how you see fit, but if you're buying an all-around new system, this is what I recommend. Semi-expensive, but rewarding in the end. Let me know what you guys would do different in the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm Andrew, and this is Elite Gaming HQ. Thanks for watching, guys.